Right, let's keep things moving out here. We've got to level up a decent amount before I feel confident taking on one of the most infamous gym leaders in the entire franchise. Okay, so we've got Nabra here. In the wild, when I thought they were just something that you could get from the game corner. I'm definitely showing off how little I know about the Johto region here, aren't I? Still, considering an Alakazam was pretty major in my main team in the previous generation, probably not gonna get one for this gen. Especially since part of me isn't fully convinced I won't just have a Gyarados on this team like the last one. I honestly didn't expect my little gimmick that I'd face my previous generation team after each gym battle would come back to bite me like this. I just somehow expected the second generation Pokemon to be more prominent in the second generation. Instead, for the most part, it feels like the first generation are superior. Though maybe I'm just not looking at it from the right angle. Well, I didn't have a Drowsy on either the red or blue teams, if I remember correctly. That could be a good addition to this team. Right, another fresh Pokemon, and this one could potentially be added to our team, not just sit around in the box. Is there really anything you can name something that explicitly has a dream gimmick other than Freddy? Of course, now I have to wonder how many of the people watching this end up associating the name Freddy more with Friday Nights at Freddy's than Freddy Krueger. It's not like Nightmare on Elm Street's had any recent hits. Hell, you could argue it maybe had 2 good movies, and everything else in that series was either middling or just plain bad. Well, everyone's at level 16, but the policeman we just fought was level 17. Pretty sure I want everyone on the team to be at least level 18 or higher before we walk into the gym itself, and I doubt we're gonna manage to get that done in this clip. Still, I wouldn't mind being wrong about that, so let's see how things go. Definitely gonna take a lot of battles to grow the team higher, that's for sure. It's kind of funny how I wish there were more means of gaining experience than just straight up fighting over and over again, considering that's how most role-player games handle it. But then part of that is the fact that, for the most part, the Pokemon world is a peaceful one. We don't start our journey to destroy some especially evil company, or prevent an empire from conquering our lands. Our hometown is not destroyed as part of the call to adventure, and none of the fighting is to the death. It's just low stakes, explore the region you're capable of being the champion of, and prove yourself. I don't really have any motive to want to be the best other than it's what every fresh trainer tries to do. On paper, most don't succeed, but since it's the absolute center of every mainline Pokemon game, and there have been 9 generations so far, it doesn't really feel as special as it used to. Hell, that's one of the reasons I'm so annoyed that Pokemon became a much bigger hit than Final Fantasy. Sure, Final Fantasy has a number of clunkers over the years, but the most basic of them, the heroes have a story to go through, one that is unique to them. For example, there might be elements that are similar between Final Fantasy 4 and 5, but choosing which of the 2 to play through again feels kinda meaningful. But it just doesn't feel all that meaningful to choose between playing Pokemon Red or Blue, or between Red and Gold, or Crystal and Yellow, because you are still a blank slate, earning 8 gym badges and dealing with various Team Rocket crimes along the way. And while they do change things up in terms of what criminal organization you deal with in later games, with Magma and Aqua being quite the highlight, Plasma having a lot of potential if they weren't hypocrites, that sort of thing, the format just has not changed. Pokemon just does not like to really experiment. And somewhere around the 5th or 6th generations, they slowed down the growth of the franchise even further since they didn't want to mess with the Golden Goose. And that's infuriated the part of the fan base that they try so hard to keep a hold of with various bits of nostalgia. It's just pretty baffling to me. Yeesh! Didn't even see any actual growth on the experience bar with that one. Would that Ditto have given us more experience if I let it transform, or would it have given just as much experience no matter what form and moves it has? Really nothing I can do if the enemy decides to put us to sleep here. Thankfully, it doesn't feel like the Drowsy has any offensive psychic moves. Not even Dream Eater, the thing that's practically its signature move that goes with hypnosis. If anything, I think the biggest factor my penny-pinching ways are going to screw me over is the movesets of this and all the other teams I will ever have in Pokemon. It didn't feel like that big of a deal to me back in the first generation. It took me quite a while to give a damn about the attacks that we had available to us. And considering I can manage to do quite a number to the most dangerous of gym leaders, Sabrina, using a type she's neutral to, which is literally normal, very common, it just never felt like an issue. But here I am, trying to prepare the best I can for the 3rd gym of this game, and feeling annoyed at the move pools of the Pokemon at my disposal. I'm sure the TM shop in the rather large store would help solve that problem to some degree, if I was willing to spend money on that, instead of purely on Pokeballs. But then it's not like the descriptions of the moves we saw there implied that any of them are fighting type. We didn't even see the names, just the TM number and a brief description that would make you guess what move you're getting. Assuming, of course, that you know enough about Pokemon moves to do something like that. Still, aside from maybe trading an Abra for a Machop, I don't see all that much that would allow us to gain a fighting type with fighting moves that would excel in the 3rd gym. It really says something that I didn't feel all that much need to worry about our previous 2 gym battles outside of what level we were when we walked in. While here, I've got a constant sense of dread. Well, we're certainly gaining more experience taking down the Drowsies than anything else out here, that's for sure. Jigglypuff is also a very solid experience farm here. Nice to know, but it's not like we can choose what we get to fight as we walk in this set of grass. Again, there aren't really any especially great places to grind. You just have to work with whatever is available at a given point in your journey. And with the sheer amount we've fast-forwarded in this game so far, and how much we're likely to do so in the future, it's going to be a game-wide issue for me, just like it was in the first generation. Huh. Could have sworn I would have changed Pokemon the moment one of them got to level 18. Guess I wanted to level up more than that, either to get a stat advantage of some kind when we enter the gym, or hoping that China gains a fighting move. Hold on, I'm just gonna quick check online for what level Heracross learns a fighting move. Level 27. Oh, there's no way in hell I'm gonna grind for that long before moving on. Venus isn't gonna learn Razor Leaf until level 42? And Gramash isn't gonna learn Flame Wheel, the signature move of his species, until level 31. Now, one of the things I'm noticing online is that in later generations, moves started to get learned at lower levels, and there were more moves to learn overall for a given Pokemon by leveling up. One of the little subtle things that shifted in the series to mechanically make things work better overall. I certainly don't have anything against that sort of thing being adjusted with each release and re-release. Smoothing out various mechanics and making everything streamlined is a fine way to expend effort from one game to the next. But it's kind of a subtle thing to adjust. We are still limited to 4 moves per Pokemon. And it wasn't until Legends Arceus that the idea of being able to re-equip previously forgotten moves was even considered. And before that, starting the next generation, Generation 3, there was a guy called the Move Reminder who could help you relearn moves you gained via leveling up by giving him a resource of some kind. I never really used him. I tend to go through Pokemon with very limited resources. Most of my money goes to purchasing more Pokeballs, with the occasional Evolution Stone if said generation allows for the purchase of them. I only really bother buying high-quality healing items when I'm about to go against the Elite Four. Before then, never really bothering with healing items in general, probably selling them, and just moving from Pokemon Center to Pokemon Center, assuming, of course, I'm not grinding and just going back to the same place over and over and over again. I just tend to treat playthroughs of Pokemon games differently from other role-player games. Hell, the fact that I just had that thought tells me that even though we still haven't gotten to the next gym yet, I'm sorely tempted to do another Final Fantasy here, which would be a bit of a project considering I'm not even halfway through this Pokemon game, and I've got the Fire Emblem game going on as well. Ugh. Fury Attack isn't anything particularly amazing, but I suppose it's better for my combat style than the move that messes with enemy stats. Anyway, looks like I'm using level 19 as the stopping point. Not too far from the level I thought we were going to stop at before, 18. Definitely hope I'm going to be done with the grinding in the next clip, because clearly I'm not in this one. Oh dear, definitely not liking what I'm seeing trying to get Vincent some experience out here. Though I suppose if I get lucky, Vincent might be able to paralyze an Abra so we can catch the teleporting bastard. But the fact that he has absolutely no answer to normal types is not a good thing, and he won't gain Nightshade until level 21. Does that mean I'm gonna grind Vincent up more than anyone else, or am I gonna just enter the normal type gym with a Pokemon that is completely incapable of harming normal type Pokemon? Either way, I'm really not feeling a lot of confidence here. Well, Flender could have done worse, but it's definitely a bad sign that his best attack needed that many shots against the level 12 bird. Sure, he'll get stronger as he levels up, but oh dear, I may not have a great team for this gym. And that is not something I wanted to contemplate, considering how infamous this next gym leader is. Yeah, Curse really isn't that great a move, considering my usual fighting style. And we just saw the Ditto go down because he used Curse while he himself was cursed. Okay, time for another skirmish there, Flender. Then it's back to the Pokemon Center. Yeesh! Nearly down to half health for Flender as well. Definitely not doing my confidence any favors, that's for sure.